Okay, yeah, we are live on YouTube. Let me record this thing. Okay. Hey y'all, happy Monday. I'm super excited. This is the bonus session for the Build Without Burnout 3-day reset. And I have my good sis on here because I can talk about systems and all of the things all day long. But she comes with an entirely different perspective as it relates to our health, our well being, and all of the things. And she's also a CEO, so she can also speak from that standpoint as well. And so I am going to just shift it over to her so she can tell you all who she is, what she does. And this month, she literally just had a grand opening for her business, and she can tell you all about that as well. And then I'm just gonna let her kick it off, and I'll come back on at the end during Q&A. All right, this is my sis Geneva.
Hey, everyone, thank you, Ebony, for having even inviting me because I was completely shocked. I told her I thought that it was a email for everybody else. So, I thank you for inviting me, y'all. The background is my wall in my room because I have four children and a husband, and I had to sneak upstairs and lock both of my room doors because I knew that somebody would try to come in. So if you hear knocking or yelling or you see me like move a little bit, it's because somebody's probably running up and down the steps. So I'm going to share first and then we will we ask questions. I can talk a lot just like Ebony had mentioned about herself, but I'm going to share my screen. And then I guess, Ebony, you could give me a thumbs up if you can let me know if you can see it.
I can
And
see it.
okay, good. So we're gonna go from this slide and then we'll start today. So one thing that's very important to me as a woman, a new entrepreneur or an entrepreneur of multiple times starting is to make sure that we know how important it is for us to stay well. I think a lot of times we see people sick. We have CVS's and Walgreens, and nothing against taking medication because I am a nurse of 14 years by God's grace. I started my career as an LPN, and then after I became an LPN, I had another child. So I had my first child, I went back to school, and then I had my second one, and I realized I needed to make more money. So when I had my second child, I went back to RN school, and I did that at night. Excuse me, I did that during the day while I worked at night at a nursing home to become a registered nurse. So, long story short, I have been a nurse for 14 years by God's grace. 9 of those years have been in nephrology, which is the study of the kidney. And the kidney is basically the organ that helps you filter out waste products and pee. Okay. So, if you hear of anyone on dialysis or anything like that, it's because their kidneys are not functioning properly. So, today, as Ebony mentioned, we're going to talk about how important it is for us to stay active when we have a sedentary lifestyle or we're sitting all day long. So, vitamins, minerals, and we're going to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman also, but I want to make sure that you leave empowered to make sure that you are thriving physically and professionally. So, again, Ebony, if you see any questions, just let me know because I can't figure out how to see the chat. So, again, a quick intro about myself. Again, a registered nurse. I have three boys and one daughter, one child who is getting ready to go to college in 2026, which I cannot believe I'm old enough to have a student going to college or a child going to college. And then again, I'm passionate about empowering women and entrepreneurs to take control of their health and their spiritual health as well. So I guess it ties into everything that the Lord had put into me at birth. So today, we're going to talk about what a sedentary lifestyle is. So right now, I am again seated in the corner in my room so no one can find me. But a sedentary lifestyle is basically, as you see in this picture, a woman or a anybody, an individual who sits for 6 to 8 hours daily. So we're not walking around. We are not going to the cafeteria at work like we used to before COVID hit. We are not walking to the park. We're not walking to the store. I know when I was younger in elementary school and high school, I had to walk. There was no, we used to call it a cheese bus, but there was no yellow bus taking us to school. In my area, we had to walk. So at least for 20 minutes or 15 minutes a day back and forth, so maybe 40 minutes, I at least walk to school. Unfortunately, the average worker is going to sit for 9.5+ hours, according to the CDC. And for us entrepreneurs, it can exceed this because if we are sitting on the couch after we work, if we go to Bible study or we go to a friend's house after work, we're still sitting down. So, we're going to talk about ways that you can implement right now. Implement moving your body, even if it's only you standing up and doing some squats, and you can set some timers. Unfortunately, well, I'm not saying unfortunately because things will change. This is common, a sedentary lifestyle among women, business professionals. Even if you're working in a call center, you're going to be sitting all day. That is what our lives entail, especially with administrative work. Unless you get a standing desk that lifts up and you have a walker, like a walking pad that you could use, I think that's a very, very good idea, and whoever created that's probably a millionaire. So, with that being said, these are some of the health risks of sitting too much. And I didn't do this to scare you, but I just want to make it plain. The Bible says that my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So sometimes, because we don't know even what sedentary means, we don't know what puts us at risk. I just want to make sure that you were aware of this and that you can see it so that you now can make better choices. So, cardiovascular is going to have to do with your health. And if we are sitting too much, it's going to increase your risk for heart disease. Type 2 diabetes. So, there's two types of diabetes, if you did not know. The first type is insulin resistance. Usually, you see someone who is giving themselves insulin shots. Sometimes they'll have like a kind of looks like a band-aid on the back of their arm where there's a glucose machine or a sugar machine that takes their blood sugars ever so often to make sure that their blood sugar is not too high or too low. People who have diabetes are prone to infections. Sometimes they are overweight, but diabetes, high blood pressure, and oh my goodness, hereditary kidney issues are the top three reasons why people go into dialysis. And then lastly, obesity. Because if you're not moving and you're not eating correctly, you are going to gain weight quickly. Second thing that is a risk of sitting too much is kidney function. So you have a higher risk of your kidneys having issues, and you're not filtering out the waste products. So when you drink and when you eat, you have bowel movements or you poop, and then you also urinate. So when you notice that when you get up in the morning and your urine is like bright yellow, sometimes people's urine might be a dark color. That's because you have not taken in a lot of water during the evening. So most of us will have like a dark colored urine. But as you go throughout the day, if you notice yourself drinking, then you will see that your urine color gets lighter. The other thing to note is that when you take vitamins and minerals, sometimes you can smell the vitamin when you urinate, and that's because it's being filtered out. And that is another reason why we take vitamins every day or sometimes multiple times a day, because you are not going to absorb 100% of the food or the vitamins and minerals that you intake every day because your gut is working to make sure that you are filtering out the waste products. So sometimes the good goes out as well. You have muscle and joint issues. So if you ever had a family member go into the hospital or into a nursing home and they were not able to walk, let's say, God forbid, grandma breaks her hip, right? Once it is statistically proven that when someone of an elderly age, when they fall or they break their hip, unfortunately, because they're not moving, your muscles are going to atrophy or shrink. So if you don't use it, you lose it, basically. Poor circulation is going to lead to chronic fatigue. You're going to be stiff, also known as atrophy, and then you're going to have joint pain. So a lot of people, you notice, sometimes people are barometers for the weather, like, oh, it's about to rain, my knees hurt, or it's cold outside, so my joints is aching. That's not how we should be, by God's grace. And again, I know a lot of people say those things, but what we say out of our mouths comes into our lives. And we also probably are not doing um our bodies a good service if we're eating a lot of junk. And lastly, our mental health. I don't know about you, but when the sun is not out or when I haven't been outside and I'm inside all day long, I've been working from home since 2020, I believe. And some days I just have to get out. I have to force myself. I'm running out the door, like during at least a 30-minute walk in my community, because I need the sunshine. Even if it's hot, 100 degrees here in South Carolina, I need to get out and walk because I can't sit in these four walls all day long without having some type of interaction with the sun, right? So our mental health is affected when we sit too much. Anxiety, depression, brain fog, just sitting too much is going to decrease your blood flow and neurotransmitter imbalances. So basically the neurons in your brain, they fire back and forth. And if you're not stimulated enough, then you lose those as well. Okay. Any questions, Ebony? That you guys, I hope that didn't change it. I feel like I went too fast. Let's see. Oh no, we good. Okay. So how vitamins and minerals combat sedentary effects. If you are not taking a multivitamin, you should be. And I know that for oh, good, good. Thanks, Alice. I know that for myself, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna sit down. I'm not a good patient. Okay. Get the camera. I'm not a good patient. And I will say that, like, I can give tons of education, but I am not a good patient because sometimes I forget to take my vitamins, right? I am concerned about everyone else. I'm thinking about my business. I'm thinking about how I have this thing coming up, or who's got this football game, or all of the other things that are going on in our minds. So one of the things to know is that women, we need vitamin D and we need calcium. So calcium is going to be for your bones, and vitamin D as well. But you know how you when you get older, or you see people as they get older, sometimes they have like a hunchback, or you see the elderly woman and they have like a hump. That is what we call osteoporosis. And unfortunately, it increases when we are seated and we're doing like this. So unless you had Mavis Beacon when you went to school, you may be typing with your fingers, but you're looking down. So your neck is like this. If you have a cell phone, right? Unless you're like me and you hold your phone away due to age and my glasses. But I see my kids and they're like this with their necks down, and all they're doing is twiddling their thumbs. So we have to be mindful of that and our posture as we are seated all day. B complex vitamins. This is another one that's very important. I think most of us, if you've had children already, you've taken a prenatal vitamin, right? And that's something that we take and we try to remember because we're growing a baby in our bodies, and we don't want any neurological, any types of defects. So I want you to think of it this way: even if you haven't had children, the vitamins that you take and the food that you intake every single day, those are going to be things that are going to keep you healthy for years to come. And if you plan to live to 120, we cannot do that by eating fast food all of the time, by eating junk food all of the time. We have to make sure that we balance things out in moderation. So B complex vitamins, there is B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then there's also B12. But these vitamins are going to help with your brain function, your memory, and your focus. Okay. Along with this, I just want to add decreasing your sugar intake because sometimes your brain fog can come from eating the wrong foods. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I'm talking to myself, but sometimes our brain fog can come from eating too much sugar. Magnesium. So magnesium is known as a muscle relaxant. Right, as you can see, it says it alleviates muscle cramps and tension. It is also going to help with your metabolism. So sometimes, if you have low levels of magnesium, you could be tired, or you could be also gaining weight because the energy that you need to boost your metabolism you may not have. It also helps with your sleep. Okay, good quality sleep is needed. Even if you get 4 hours of sleep because you have some sort of regimen that you are on, even if you get 4 good quality hours of sleep, that is good. But you may not be getting good sleep. One, you might be eating too late, and two, you may be deficient in magnesium. And you can always go to your primary care provider if you have one. Sometimes there are, what do you call those places? The urgent care. I don't know. Some of them have preventative wellness, but you can go somewhere like that and just get your labs drawn. Even if you have like a Quest near you, you might be able to just get what we call a complete blood count or a CBC, and they will be able to draw your labs and see what you are deficient in or what your levels are as a whole. And lastly, antioxidants. So vitamin C, E, and zinc, very, very, very important for inflammation, and also this when it's cold and flu season, when the germs and things seem like they're going around more often than not. Zinc is going to help you with vitamin C to heal properly. Okay. So you can not become ill during flu season. I'm going to say that one more time, just in case y'all didn't hear me. You can stay free from the flu during flu season, okay? And COVID, but that's just my opinion, okay? You can stay free from those things if you use preventative wellness. Okay, you can stay free from those things if you use preventative wellness. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of nephrology insight. So, again, the kidneys are going to be what helps you filter out the urine and waste products, excuse me, that you take in. So, remember, even if you drink a gallon of water a day, you will notice that your urine intake will increase because your bladder cannot hold all of the fluids that you are intaking. So if you drink a gallon, you're not going to hold on to a gallon unless you have kidney problems. Okay. So a lot of people will say, well, because I have an IV hydration studio, some physicians and other medical professionals will say, IV hydration is not something that's needed. Okay, but if I am dehydrated and you already understand the purpose of the kidney is to filter, then I'm not getting 100% of the fluid that I need anyway, because I should urinate it out, right? I should urinate some of that fluid out. So if you are someone who is going to start working out, if you are someone who travels a lot, and you are around germs and your immune system is not built up enough. So this is not listed here, but we have two types of immunity. So we have adaptive and innate. So my innate system is going to be something that's already within me, right? So I caught a cold before, and then I built up immunity to that germ. So if that specific germ comes back, I'll have memory in my immune system to say, hey, we already fought this, let's kill it. Okay. My adaptive immune system is when I get a bug, I have to now fight it. That's when my body's going to adapt, but I don't have that memory marker until it comes back again, if that makes sense. So you have an innate immune system and an adaptive immune system. And when it comes to your kidneys, when they fail, you lose the ability to do certain things, urination, which means that I'm now going to hold on to fluid. Okay. You now have a buildup of toxins in your body. So, what that means is the food that I ate, let's say we had some chicken, it was bad. Maybe they shot it up with a hormone or something. Who knows? Unless you eat free range chicken. So let's say whatever was in that chicken that was toxic to my body, those germs or those toxins are now in my bloodstream. So a lot of people who have kidney issues, unfortunately, sometimes they start to itch, like they have a nasty taste in their mouth because kind of like when you bite your tongue and you bleed, it's like metallic. They have a nasty taste in their mouth because all of the toxins that we should be filtering out are now in my skin. It's coming out in my pores and different things of that nature. So with your kidneys, adequate water intake combined with all of the vitamins and minerals that we discussed before are going to help the kidneys filter. But you want to do these things beforehand. So if you have not been to the doctor in over a year, I would suggest going to get your labs checked, not because I want you to have a doctor say you're diagnosed with something, but it's just good to know. Every year we should get our labs drawn. Okay. As a woman, when you get a certain age and your hormones and menopause and perimenopause and all of those things, you should get your levels checked so that you know how to move forward. Okay. Vitamin D deficiency. I don't know where you all are, where you live. But I know for me, I have been deficient in vitamin D also because of the melanin that's in my skin because I'm brown skin. You know, we don't absorb all of the vitamin D from the sun. So I can sit out and tan, okay? Because I like to be golden. I can sit out and tan and still be deficient in vitamin D because maybe I'm not eating foods that are high in vitamin D. So with that being said, sometimes you have to get a vitamin D. You can get injections or you can get an oral tablet. So, key thing here, when you're taking vitamins, you want to make sure that you check the expiration date. Um, I don't have any close by where I can show you, but check the expiration date on your vitamins. And if they expire, it's 2025. If they expire in 2030, that's too low. Okay. You know how we have canned foods that expire like 2, 3 years from now? Fresh vegetables are better, but if it has a long shelf life, is not as good for us, if that makes sense. So if my vitamins expire in 2035, is not as fresh because I want something when I put it into my body, it's going to be available for me to absorb. And it's not, again, it doesn't have a 10-year shelf life, right? Because who would eat bread that was going to expire in 10 years? Just think about it that way. So with that being said, when you buy vitamins, you want to try, and it is more pricey to have vitamins and supplements and different things like that that are um that expire in the least amount of time. Okay. But vitamin D deficiency, before I get off topic, is one that also affects your mood. If your vitamin D level is low, you could be sad for no reason, right? It could be something that's affecting your hormones. So a lot of the time we may think that we're so tired, but you could be deficient in a vitamin or a mineral and you just need a boost. Okay. And then lastly, micronutrient balance. So your body's resilience and your healing capacity is going to be dependent on what you have available. That is why when cold and flu season comes around, people tend to get sick very quickly. It's like, oh my God, this thing hit me like a ton of bricks. But it was because we weren't eating properly beforehand. So I'll give you an example. Um, I'll give you an example. So there's a program that we go to where we're around a lot of people standing up for 12 hours. It's hot, we're close in range, we're doing different things. It's a prayer marathon, okay? I know personally that before I go to this occasion or this event, I need to make sure that I eat less sugar, okay? Sugar is a breeding ground for infection. If you look it up, oh, sorry, y'all. If you do some research, cancer thrives in sugary environments. Infection breeds in dark, warm, and moist places. Okay. Sugar is also, again, a breeding ground for infection. So when I go to this event and I know that I'm gonna be around people, I'm gonna be up, I'm gonna be exerting myself. I try my best, even though sometimes it's hard, right? I try my best to eat less sugar so that my body can fight with the right amount of ammo, if that makes sense. Okay. So, you get ready to go to a concert. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this when people go on vacation, we're on the airplane, we're around people, we're in a different environment. There's different germs in different areas depending on the climate because it might be hot, it might be humid. Remember, dark, warm, and moist places is the breeding ground for infection. Okay, so when I go on vacation, and sometimes people say they come back sick, it's because we've been eating a lot of sugar, we having a good time, we're going here, there, and everywhere. When I was younger and I was doing things I wasn't supposed to, we were drinking alcohol full of sugar. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So if you feel yourself getting sick, it's best to not eat any sugar, right? And sometimes we want the comfort food when we don't feel well. Have you some chicken noodle soup? Okay, I don't think there's much sugar in that, but literally try try some soup. Okay, now ways that we can implement change like tomorrow or even right now depending on what time zone you're in, ways that you can implement change. So morning boost, if you have the time or if your stomach can take it. Some people don't like to, excuse me, some people don't like to eat early or have anything on their stomachs early, but you can start with a smoothie, right? Find you a good protein that you like that's not too high in sugar and have a protein shake or a smoothie in the morning and make sure that you do that. So that's one way to do that. Moving hourly on your phone, set timers. Okay. Even if you just stand up at your desk and you walk around your house for 5 minutes. Okay. Or you march in place for 10 minutes. Okay. Make sure that you walk every hour if you can. I know if you have an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, they may do this as well, but mine gives me a timer that says, hey, it's time for you to stand up if I haven't stood up in an hour, every hour. Because at least we'll know that we at least stood up. Okay, so we don't want to sit too much either. Um, Make sure that you get you a good vitamin. So I take a multivitamin from Herbalife, which you do not have to take, but a good multivitamin. Some people ask a lot of questions about, do you take yours on an empty stomach? What do you think, I should do? Everybody is different. It all depends on the type of, I won't say metabolism, but the type of the way that you the way that your body reacts to things. So I can take even an antibiotic on an empty stomach, but we are told to advise our patients that when you take an antibiotic, excuse me, y'all, when you take an antibiotic, you should take it with a yogurt or something like that. Me, I can take it on an empty stomach. It just depends on the person. Do what your doctor tells you to do because I am a nurse and I'm not a nurse practitioner yet, but this is just education for you. Okay. And so B complex vitamins and that magnesium. So remember, the magnesium is going to help to, it's kind of like a relaxer. So it's going to help you to sleep better at night. But also that B complex vitamin, B12, is an energy booster. If you are in need of energy, B12 will do it via IM injection, so in your muscle. And you can take B12 orally as well. And I'm trying to think what else, or IV administration. So remember that when you take your vitamins orally, you're only going to absorb about 10 to 30% of them. When you take a vitamin or a mineral via IM injection, so that's IM means intramuscularly, so it's going to go into your muscle. It's going to go into your muscle and then into your bloodstream. Okay, that increases the rate of about 70%. And then IV hydration through your vein is going to be about a 90 to 100% absorption rate. Okay, so orally 10 to 30. Intramuscularly is about 70%. And then IV hydration is going to be 90 to 100%, depending on the person's body. Okay. And then lastly, drink water. I think one of the main things with being sick, having headaches, having brain fog, thinking that you're hungry, is that you're dehydrated. Okay. Some people, if you don't have kidney issues, okay, we are advised to drink half of our body weight in ounces. So if I am 100 and I'm gonna say if I'm 166 pounds, I divide that by two, and I should be drinking 83 ounces of water per day. 83 ounces. Okay. That doesn't include coffee. It doesn't include tea. Water is water. You can put some lemon juice in it if you want to. You can add one of those little, what do you call it, flavor packets if you need to. But water is water. H2O, not sparkling ice, not a Lonnie, not a Red Bull, and not tell you what to do, but water is water. Okay, so divide whatever you weigh right now into two, and that will tell you how much you should drink per day. Okay. And then, okay, so my favorite thing, I got my Bible out because I didn't, not that I didn't want to start with the Bible, but I wanted to get the vision out of the way so that you could understand the importance of movement. As a CEO, as a woman, as a sister, as a daughter, as a wife, a mother, whatever roles that you have, because we talked about that, making sure that you are equipped physically, mentally, and spiritually. It says it in the Bible. So the Proverbs 31 woman, I'm pretty sure she may have had some help in her home. She had staff and all of those things. But she made sure that she equipped herself with strength spiritually, mentally, and physically for her God-given task. If you are the CEO of a business who's helping multi-million dollar clients and different things of that nature, how are you going to be strong if you're not walking? How are you going to be strong if you're not exercising? How are you going to be mentally fit if you're putting food in your body that's causing you to um, have brain fog? Okay, so I'm going to read Proverbs 31, verse 25. I have a different version, and I have the New King James Version here, but it says, that is not the verse that I wanted. Why is that wrong? It's verse number 17, y'all. Number 17 says, she girds herself with strength and she strengthens her arms. Okay. And one of the things that stood out to me, well, the Amplified version is the best one that I wanted to point out. But the last part says, and she makes her arms strong. Okay. I think we talked about, if I'm not mistaken, I think Moses was the one and he had to have the people holding up his arms, right? Now, sometimes you will be the one with the vision, right? Sometimes you will be the one who has to make the decisions until you can delegate out. And I just wanted to remind us all that our bodies are presented, as Romans 12:1 says, as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, or holy and acceptable unto God, which is our reasonable service. So if I expect God to use me as a vessel for others, then I have to treat this vessel properly so that I am not giving my clients, so I'm not giving my family, so I'm not giving myself a watered down version of me when it comes to my physical health, because I'm not putting in the right things. Now, sometimes things may not be in our wheelhouse to buy, right? Let's say the vitamins that are expire in 60 days or 90 days or 100 and some dollars, blah blah blah. Whatever your case is, there's things that you can do that do not involve money. So the first thing is to get walking. If you can, I would advise you to just walk around your community, right? Walk around. My community is not big anymore. We only have two streets in our development. And I know a gentleman who walks around the development 4 times, and I think he said it's like a couple miles. And he does this every single day. Rain, sleet, snow. We don't have snow, but rain or sunshine. He's out there with his hat on because I think he said he's allergic to the sun or something. I don't know. But anyway, he's walking every single day. It never fails. So I'm sitting at my desk and I see homeboy walking and I'm like, dang, I need to get out there. Okay. So with that being said, make a commitment to yourself. Okay. A small one, even if you just get up and stand up and you start that. Even if you get up and walk around your kitchen for 5 minutes, even if you go upstairs and do a load of laundry, or you walk to wherever the laundry room is and do a load of laundry when your alarm goes off every hour for you to stand up. Whatever it is that you can do today, commit that to yourself. Because again, as you are going through and you're growing your business, as you are growing yourself, because even for me, sometimes I fall off, right? There was a time during the summer where I wasn't eating any sugar, right? I was doing good. I was on my P's and Q's. And then something happened. I think I had one sweet. And the next thing I know, things started trickling in, and I actually got sick. I got sick. The kids brought a germ home and it went through everybody, and I was the last one to get it. And I mean, I had to take a day off from work, and I work from home. So it's not like you know what I'm saying? Like I could have been comfortable with tissue, taking Theraflu, but I literally had to sleep all day, and I never sleep all day. So I admonish you to look at what you're eating, even if you take a diary, right? At the end of this, I have a link for Ebony for you to download a checklist that tells you how to do like stretches during the day, tells you again how much water to intake, and then how to exercise while you are at your desk. So you can have that as a free resource and a free guide to help you with your daily commitment. Okay. Make sure you nourish your body. If you eat a lot of breads, if you eat a lot of rice, if you eat a lot of things that are gonna turn to sugar, you're gonna have that mid-afternoon slump because all you did was eat sugar in the morning, but it was in the form of bread or cookies or cakes or whatever it is that you drink. Start your day off with a glass of water. Again, you can put some lemon juice in it. Like get you a lemon, a fresh squeezed lemon, put it in there. Um, I don't know what else people put in water because I only use lemons. Limes, if you like limes, you can use that as well. Whatever it is that you need to do to get started. Even I know someone, this young lady I used to follow, she would put a water bottle next to her bed so that in the morning she would grab the water bottle instead of going downstairs and getting coffee. For me, I have to remind myself not to drink tea first thing in the morning because I want to flush my body with water. Okay, we want to flush the toxins out. Remember, we've been sitting or sleeping, hopefully more than 4 hours, but we've been sleeping throughout the night. So now I need to wake my body up with water. Okay, embrace your strength. So you know that you have a mission. You know you have people who you are called to serve, right? We want to build without burnout, and the way that we do this with our body, if you can exercise, I'm telling you this. If you can exercise before you start your day. Now, some people can do it at the end of the day, but I know for me, if I exercise in the morning, it gives me more energy. And if for the married women, if you do it consistently, it's going to give you more energy in the evening. You know what I mean? Okay? So, make sure that if you can exercise, even if you have YouTube or any of Apple, I think Apple has a I'm not promoting Apple, you have to pay me. But whoever you have, Android, Apple, there's some exercises that you could do or find some videos on YouTube. Get you some weights and you can just walk. I know there's a walking one that you could do in the house for 30 to 45 minutes. Just get going. You don't have to go to the gym if you can't. But please make sure that you get going and you understand how important you are. If you're not here, who's going to, and not you're not here as in being prideful, but if you're not here, I think we talked about this the other day. If your purpose is not fulfilled, who is going to be affected if you don't do what you're called to do and you don't do it in excellence because you're sick? Okay. Last thing I want to add to embracing your strength, one of the things that I think we should just end on is a health history of your family. So if you can write down any of the health issues that are in your family, if you have none, by God's grace, you are blessed. Okay. So for example, cancer has been in my family. High blood pressure and diabetes has been in my family. And I don't think a heart attack, but I don't think anybody was on dialysis by God's grace. I'm lying. My sister, unfortunately, who just passed away. Okay. So with that being said, for me, I can now say, all right, this person had cancer, this person had diabetes, this person had kidney issues. What leads to these things? And how can I work against them, or how can I combat these things just by having the education? Okay. So, with that being said, if for some reason you need a wellness evaluation, right? Ebony's going to send my information after this or in a recap email. But if you need any wellness education, not for, and this is free, not for to tell you what to do, but just to give you a roadmap of my family may have gone through this, but now as a CEO in my business, as a CEO in my family, as a CEO for my health, I can now learn how to combat these things. And it's going to be eye-opening. Who studies diabetes unless you're in the healthcare field? Who studies the common cold unless you're in the healthcare field? And it's also to make you more aware when you go to the doctor. It's very important to understand when you go to the doctor so that you can be informed. And then what they're telling you is just either confirmation or it's a, okay, that makes sense. I didn't understand that part from what you read. Not Googling things to make Google your doctor, but understanding what these disease processes entail so that you can do the opposite because we don't want them. I want to live long and strong for my grandchildren. I don't want to walk around with a walker or a hunchback, and I don't want them wheeling me down the graduation ramp when my children are graduating. I personally don't want that. If you do and you're comfortable with that, then I'm gonna pray for you. But for me, I want to make sure that I'm healthy and I can walk and I can move for myself and for my family and for whatever I'm called to do by God's grace. Okay. So I did share the previous slide had like aloe and some tea or a different energy drink that I drink via Herbalife. But that's something that I do. If you want any information about that, just let me know. But I think that's it. That is all. I will escape. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'm gonna drop how you can follow me in the chat. If I can find it. There we go. And then, oh, I think I might see a question. Oh, wait, no questions. Okay. So I answered Alice's question. But Ebony,
Hey.
I am going to drop this in the chat.
Okay. I don't think the webinar has an
It doesn't.
actual chat. So send it to me and I'll email it out.
Okay.
But let me get on
Nice.
video.
I know that was a lot. So,
Oh, I got this whole thing on. Because why was I over here like grabbing water and my magnesium vitamins while you was talking? Because I was like, only thing I've had today is a Bloom energy drink.
mhm.
And I was like, let me just go get me a
It's some
magnesium
water.
vitamin.
Yes. And get some water too. Like it's very, we don't think about it because I'll be honest. I didn't drink all 83 ounces of my water today. I know that I didn't because I had my tea. I did have one water bottle this morning, but I'm deficient as well. But again, that's why we have those what you call it? Those jugs that have like the ounces on it. I
Mhm.
mean, I have one. I need to get back to using it, but it's just the discipline of it. So our bodies will thank us, though. I know when I drink enough water, I feel better, and I'm not eating as much. So if you're like a snacker and we're eating because we think we're hungry, we're probably dehydrated. So
We eat because we're probably dehydrated. I've
you're probably
never
thirsty.
heard that.
hmm
Hey,
Yeah. The next time you get hungry, try to drink a bottle of water or at least 8 ounces and see how much better you feel.
okay. Dara, you have a question?
I do. For us, want to be extra fasting all the time, saints. What are your suggestions for us? Because when I tell you, I be feeling like I'm walking in the matrix sometimes. It's
hmm
very I know that I'm deficient in probably like three things at this point, and I think that I can go run and take two chewable vitamins and everything's gonna be all right in life, and it just don't be.
Yes. So intermittent fasting is good. And not that so I fast a lot too. So intermittent fasting is good. It's what you put in your body after you stop fasting. So let's say you do 12 hours or 16 hours. You just want to make sure that you're eating something that's high in protein. So if you can't, I know that when we fast a lot, sometimes our stomachs shrink. So you're not going to be able to eat 3 meals in that short window of time. So whether you have like a protein shake, whether you have some chicken, steak, if you eat meat, like something that I'm not a vegetarian, Lord help me, or vegan, so I'm trying to do better. But if you have anything that's high in protein, that's gonna help you with your energy levels. So it's just the things that you're putting in. For me, I know that if I when I'm breaking fast, if I eat a salad or like something with some tuna, then I'm good. But what I really want to eat is a bagel with egg and cheese. But the bagel won't turn to sugar. And then your girl will be sleepy. That's just me. But that's how my body works. So I need to stay away from bread and stuff like that. But it tastes really good.
Okay, and then do you have the recommend? I heard like with protein, you're supposed to be eating like a certain percentage of protein of your body weight. I'm the type of person where I get tired of chewing meat sometimes. I love meat, but I'll get tired of
Mhm.
chewing it. So besides like beans and stuff, what are like top replacements for that?
So I do beans or chickpeas, tofu, if you like tofu. There's something else that's called, I don't know if you heard of it, Ebony, I might be saying it wrong, but it's Seitan, something which I don't know, I think it might be vegan. I thought you might have known. But
Satan, that's like satan or something like that.
there you go. That's what it is. I've never had that. But tofu veggie burgers are not as chewy. Like I found some good like veggie burgers. Like you said, those are all the things that are high in protein unless you drink it. Unless you drink a protein shake. Um those are mainly the options. And mushrooms. I don't know if you eat mushrooms. But mushrooms, even though they're some of them like shiitake mushrooms might be a little bit chewier, but you can use them in like it tastes like chicken, but it's
I,
not
oh my
as.
God. I did not know that. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't think about mushrooms in the form of protein. I just thought about mushrooms in the form of, oh, you want to go vegan or you don't want to eat meat, just throw some mushrooms in there to replace the
You
the
know, eat
density, I
them.
guess.
And
Oh,
they're
thank
filling
you.
too. I do that. What do you call it? So it's crazy, but I do like a stuffed mushroom with quinoa and mushroom. Kind of make it like a stuffed pepper, but it's no meat.
Love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
My mama talking about you need to ask her about why you eating all those cups of ice.
You might, girl. I ain't gonna say what I think it is, but you need to get your labs done. Okay, ice. So that I'll be honest. Talk about myself. So I used to eat baby powder, and not baby powder from the dollar store. It had to be Johnson and Johnson. So they called it. Oh my goodness! Somebody help me. Pica. PICA. And you're deficient in something. Usually ice equates to anemia or iron. So, but usually when you're eating different things because of the texture, you're deficient in something. You just got to figure out what.
So it can't just be a form of water and I'm getting hydrated.
Because if you let that ice melt, it's probably only this much of water. So you're not really hydrating yourself as you should. It's just the texture of it is it's calming probably to you. That's how the powder was for me, and I
Okay.
was anemic.
I've heard people say cornstarch, but I've never
Mhm.
heard people eating baby powder.
Girl, hot mess. It was a mess.
Were you pregnant?
Hmm.
Mm.
Or actually, it was right after I had my baby because I would avoid it when I was pregnant because I was like, I don't want to hurt my baby. I'm not eating no powder, but it was after.
Alice, you have a question?
Yeah, I was.
Yes. Hey, first I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. And I feel like you're in my business a little bit because this in the last 2 weeks is what I have actively been working on, feeling very depleted in my work, crashing, doing like 12, sometimes 14 hours a day working,
Mhm.
not eating all the things. And so I have been taking walks in my
Mhm.
local park 5 minutes away, 30, 40 minutes, sitting down, journaling in the sun, getting that outdoor air. And it has literally changed everything for me.
Mhm.
So I was about to close this business. And now I feel like, oh, I just needed some, I just
Vitamin
needed
D.
some outdoor air.
You
Exactly.
just get some outdoor air. It makes a difference. Like
Yeah. And
it
I
makes
was
a huge
not
difference.
getting that in the gym. So I would go and walk
Mhm.
on the treadmill and try to, and it felt like I was forcing it. But in nature, it feels more natural because I get to people watch. There's other, the elements are all there. And so it
Mhm.
has been really helpful. One of the things that I struggle with is the sugar.
Mhm.
During stress, I am looking for a Twix or something sugary to comfort me. Um,
Mhm.
and so that has been probably the biggest adjustment is sitting at this desk, and also changing my workspace has helped. But
Mhm.
anyone has any um, sugar-free snacks that they recommend? I mean, I welcome all the things. I have bought some like fruits and some cashew milk yogurt and granola and things like that. So I have things on hand ready to enjoy so I don't eat something bad. But
Yeah, I definitely understand. So when I was mentioning that I had went without sugar for a while, it was almost I feel like it was over 40 days because we did a 40-day fast, and I was like, I'm not eating no sugar, forget it, no candy, because I was a Reese's girl. When I tell you Reese's, anything that was candy is me. Werther's, the hard ones, the soft ones, the ones with the soft in the middle and crunchy on the outside. You see how I'm naming the snacks? I'm too
yeah.
familiar with them. So, with that being said, during that time, I think what helped me was not going cold turkey, but I basically had to like cut it off and find other ways. So, what I do now is that even brown sugar, white sugar is the worst, but
Yeah.
I use honey in my tea.
Hmm.
Um, and I also there is a like an aloe. Sometimes there's like flavor aloe, collagen. Now this is just drinks. As far as sugar-free candy, for me, all candy is candy.
Right.
Um, the sugar-free ones don't taste as good.
Hmm.
So I don't have any sugar-free ones, but I did do like the fruit popsicles. So
Oh,
there's a good, not good sense. It's something um it might be something good.
okay.
Um, but they have like it's natural sugar. So if you could find something that's less than 10 grams is good, but like natural fruit. So I think that's the thing. I think I sent Ebony something the other day. It was like a cup of fruit against peanut butter. And it's usually the fruits, like the natural berries, that are going to give you that sugar that we need, but that's the better sugar than having like the Twix or something. And you could also do, I know a lot of people, I don't know how they taste because I haven't made them yet. But sometimes people make Reese's and it's natural peanut butter and like dark chocolate. So it might be you just have to get your body used to it because once you stop eating sugar, your taste buds are going to change, and then you can incorporate new ways of snacks.
I love that. And I welcome that. I will say, don't buy if anyone else is looking for low sugar. I bought these keto ice cream bars. They're like almond ice cream bars and they taste
Mm-hmm.
so good. But then after you get this weird after numbness on your tongue because of the sugar substitute that they use. So that's another thing that even though it says sugar free and it's like 2 grams of sugar, be cognizant of the like the alternatives that they use. It can make you feel bad.
Very, very true. So, what's it called? Now, don't quote me on this, but the different types of sugar substitutes
Yeah.
are they say that they're more addictive and it messes with your brain. Sugar is
Mm-hmm.
like crack. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes,
Sugar is like
yes.
crack. But the aspartame and whatever I forget the other one,
Fructose.
they fructose, yes.
Mhm.
but it's they're like 1,000 times more the amount of sugar than sugar. So like I noticed that if I was doing Splenda, let's say, I would have to put more Splenda in than I would put sugar just to get that feeling of this taste. And then it has a, like you said, it'll have a weird aftertaste. So the Splenda, the sweet and low, equal all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
that good for us.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. You're welcome.
Crystal,
Yes.
do you have any questions?
Say that again.
Do you have questions?
You talking to me?
Mhm.
Oh, let's see.
This is my mama.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Good information. Good information.
Thank you.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I get up every morning. I'm 55 years old.
Okay.
So I get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And you was talking about YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I do between sometime I do 20 minutes or I do 30-minute exercise off of a YouTube video,
Mm-hmm.
you know, first thing in the morning, and it helps me get through the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take long. 20 minutes will have you sweating.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I have learned, because I work in a nursing home environment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, when we don't do weight training,
Mm-hmm.
we lose muscle.
Muscle.
And when we lose muscles, we are prone for falling.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be mindful of that as we get older.
Age. Yep. You're absolutely right.
So that would be one thing that I would encourage, to get some type of weight training regimen
Mm-hmm.
to help build that muscle. Because one of the quotes that I really like is that if you take care of your body when you're young, your body will take care of you when you're older.
When you're older. Yes.
So,
Right. I 100% agree.
yes. So, okay, Ebony, that's all.
I agree. And I'll add to after mom said that the weight training is very, very important. I don't know if y'all heard of CrossFit. I'm not there yet. But I know that I used to do, y'all ever heard of Beachbody? Like back in the day, Beachbody was a thing. And that's where, what's that boy name? Sean T and Billy Blanks. They used to have all these workout videos, and you can just get you some weights and from the Target or Walmart, wherever you like to shop, and just like we were saying about the YouTube videos, just go on and find a video, and you can use those weight at home. The resistance band, you can even do that resistance band on your legs while you're sitting during the day, and that will build up your leg muscles, your thigh muscles, and your core. I don't like to talk about the belly area, but we need that to support our backs. So if you have back pain, it's probably because your core is not strong. But that's a whole nother thing, and I'm gonna let us go. But just know that the weight training, like she mentioned, is very, very important. It's very important.
Awesome. Thank you so much. How can we connect with you or stay connected?
Yes, so you can follow me at so I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and the name of my business is Equipped, EQUIPPED, Hydration and Wellness Spa. So you can follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and then I am on LinkedIn. And after this, I'm gonna send Ebony the link so you can get your download for the guide that I was talking about, and the other thing that I wanted to mention is if you live somewhere and you're thinking about IV hydration, just know that that's another way for you to get the vitamins and minerals 100%. You don't have to do it every single day. Obviously, that's going to be access, but monthly. That will help to restore you, especially if you're thinking about starting to work out and the soreness and those different things, and the vitamin D. there's injections for that will help with your mood and different things of that nature. So Instagram, Equipped Hydration and Wellness Spa. So is Facebook. And then tonight or whenever Ebony sends the email, you'll be able to join my email list and you'll get the newsletter that I send out monthly about health tips and hydration.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ma'am.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And so send me the links and I'll send it to everybody else. But thank you, ladies, for joining us. I hope it was super helpful because I got plenty notes over here. And yes, have a good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.